If you're planning on moving abroad, anywhere in the Western world, best time to optimize your power and your money is mid to late September to March. You miss the tourist season and you will see the place at its worst, at its coldest, and the core people are living there. And that's what you want to see. You're not on vacation. You may be looking for vacation, but you are on a serious mission to find a good place to live, I think. So you have that window, and I will talk about this further in a few minutes. Your window closes mid to end of March, especially after Easter. And as we know, that's different every year. Alrighty, so to explain in depth a little further, April may seem like the perfect time. In fact, when I was planning my trip, my move to Vlora, I had planned on April. I think I was going to leave April 2nd, maybe, and I thought it was perfect. The weather wasn't too bad. The tourists hadn't arrived yet, or so I thought from where I was sitting in California. And everything was good to go. Something else happened in my life. Well, not to me, but to a friend of mine, my roommate and very good friend. And I decided to stay until September. And boy, fate really, really stepped in for me on that one. Because arriving in April, it sounds good. I can't remember what the timing was with Easter last year, and I didn't look it up. But April is too late. I know people are starting to arrive now, and I've spoken to my real estate agent, and the prices are already going up. Okay, they will probably fall back down in the winter, but they are already going up. People are looking in the four to mid fours for a long-term place, and it's just getting almost impossible. So the window you have, and I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but you have till about mid to end of September to March. That is without a doubt the best time to arrive when you're looking to move, okay? I know you're probably trying to hook it onto a vacation, but this is a move. This isn't a vacation. You'll have the rest of your life to vacation, okay? But try to get yourself situated in the best possible place right from the beginning. So September, and that will give you September, October, you rent a place, or into November, a temporary place for a month or two in the town, or out somewhere if you don't think you want to live in town, and see how that works. And you can slowly decide where you want to live. And then start looking at permanent places, or you can start looking at permanent places all along. But unless you want to keep moving and keep making really unnecessary mistakes, this seems to be the easiest way. And then you'll have an agent, you'll be working with someone, and you get a temporary place. It may be a crummy place, maybe it's cheap, maybe it's too expensive, but you will have a place, you won't feel rushed, you can figure out what's going on. And that is true everywhere. When you seriously start to look, it will be winter. And this is the best time, okay? The prices, the living prices are lower, the rents are cheaper, and there's more inventory. So I highly recommend looking at a calendar before you make any big moves but any big moves abroad. Now, if you're considering a move to Albania as an American passport holder, you know you can stay for a year. You have a year clean visa on arrival, or no visa, as people like to say. You have 90 days. After the year, you must leave for 90 days. Now, there are a couple of decisions that you have to make. If you took your time and found a great apartment, like I did, I will go ahead and say it, I love my apartment, you may not want to give it up. And there's the subletting, that's between you and your landlord. I wouldn't count on subletting myself, but you can decide if you want to give up the apartment and lose the 3 months, and then start this process all over again. Maybe you want to change places. Anyway, you are responsible for the rent if you are not here, because you'll have the last 3 months of the lease, most likely. Anyway, so that's a decision that you have to think about. And it's, what you're going to do with your things. You're inevitably going to buy things. It's a headache, but it's something that you have to consider. And there are no small storage places here. There are no large storage places here. So you need to think of this. And you're going to need a place if you're planning on coming back. You're going to need a place to land, or you can do the temporary thing and start all over again, like I've already said. Now, that's one thing. You have to leave the country. You may or may not have a place to go back from where you started. If you rented your house, or you sold your house, or maybe, stay with somebody for 3 months, that depends. But where you want to go for that? Maybe you don't have a lot of money. You want to stay in the area. In the Schengen zone, if you've made any trips to Europe, anywhere, any of the Schengen countries, that time will be taken off of your, 90 days in the Schengen zone. So you have to consider that, and you have to consider the prices at your destination. Say you arrive in September. You will be looking at places September, October, November, and then you come back to Albania in December. The prices are dropping wherever you want to go. You probably want to go to a fairly decent place that still has okay weather. Those are good months, good solid months with pretty good weather. It changes about mid-October anywhere in Europe. Maybe in the northern countries it's already cooling off, okay? I'm not a weather expert I'm not a weather expert, okay? So, but the prices are going to work very well for you. Say you want to go to Asia. The weather in Asia is just starting to change. Park yourself in a cheap country in an inexpensive apartment for 3 months. The weather will be good. That's another reason to make a move in September. Where are you going to go for those 90 days? There are many places that you don't want to go in the summer. Many places, because of the prices. And these are the 90 days I'm talking about when you have to be out of Albania. The prices, if you're traveling June, July, August, and the beginning of September, and actually it's starting it's about mid-May to about mid-September is the new real tourist season. You want good weather, and you want reasonable prices. If you're traveling within that time frame, you'll find good weather, but the prices will be exorbitant or on their way to being exorbitant. So these are things that you should be considering. These are major things. There are tons of small stuff. Okay, fine. That will work out. But where are you going to park yourself? Where are you going to be? So just trying to remind you. And a year at this age, or at my age, and probably within 10 or 15 years on either side, a year is nothing. Nothing. So think about it. They're major decisions unto themselves, but if you've considered your options and have an idea what you're doing, it just becomes your selected way of life. Okay, see ya.